Thanks for joining us today. I'm Cody Holyoke. The national tension over immigration enforcement is making waves here at home. At issue, the full court press by ICE into communities across the country, an effort that has already turned deadly.
Leave! Leave! Go home!
Protests grew in Minneapolis after an ICE agent shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, a woman who used to live in Kansas City. The president has threatened to send U.S. troops to the Twin Cities to calm the chaos city leaders say ICE is causing.
What we're seeing on our streets is unnecessary abuses of force. This is an invasion for the sake of creating chaos by our own federal government to interrupt the daily lives of tens of thousands of people.
Trump administration has defended the extra enforcement, the latest show of force in a continued push to detain and deport more people in this country illegally. To that end, we learned ICE has been working since October to set up a massive 7,500-bed detention facility in South Kansas City near the old Richard Gebauer Airfield, and the community pushback hit a fever pitch as soon as word spread earlier this month.
We're not backing down. We're not going to be quiet. We won't sit down. We won't shut up.
From churches to street corners, protesters have called out ICE's plans in our area. And quickly, Kansas City, Missouri leaders passed a moratorium banning any new non-municipal detention centers for 5 years.
What this administration is feeding off of is our fear. What they're hoping for is mass hysteria. And so it's incumbent on our leaders from all levels to instill calm in our community.
Republican Missouri Congressman Mark Alford has tried to pitch other sites in Cass County, though city leaders in Belton said they're not interested. Wyandotte County, Kansas is now considering a similar moratorium. Kansas City's move is likely to face a court challenge as immigration enforcement builds closer to home. I went to City Hall to speak with Mayor Quinton Lucas about what happens next. Thanks for having us. A court challenge on this moratorium feels inevitable. How confident are you that this would hold up in court?
You know what? I am confident that cities get to control their zoning authority. You have seen these types of debates as recently as Leavenworth, Kansas, particularly where it relates to a private contractor. Therefore, we believe in our ordinance, we believe in our zoning laws, and we believe in this fundamental issue. No matter who the end user is, do you have to have a 10,000 person detention facility across the street from your house? The answer is no in any part of America, and so we look forward to defending that in federal courts.
We've seen other local cities just push back against the idea of a detention center, and even Wyandotte County start to do the same thing that Kansas City, Missouri is doing. What does that tell you?
You know, what it tells me is that people actually really just want to make sure that they're doing economic development, building their city for the interest of their city themselves. We don't want to be on random lists. We don't want to have thousands of people who are warehoused within our community, perhaps in an old distribution facility. That's the sort of thing that in many ways just doesn't seem like what we want in our communities. And rather it's Kansas City, Kansas, Belton, Missouri, Leavenworth, Kansas, lots of communities around us, many of which have differing politics, I think have all said we need to have local control over zoning decisions. That's why we're part of it. And what I would suggest to those who are looking to place these facilities is go elsewhere first, and maybe perhaps even reconsider the entirety of the program itself. An Amazon distribution facility, any other type of warehouse facility, isn't built as a jail, isn't built for the needs of humane detention. And it's not right. And I think it's important for us to stand up for human beings, no matter who they are or where they're from.
Have you had any conversations with ICE or the Trump administration?
You know, I've not talked to the administration. I have talked to our federal representation in Congress, including Congressman Mark Alford, who I know said that he is interested in a facility in his district. What I would suggest to the congressman is this. He's got a big district. A lot of it is not necessarily even in the Kansas City area itself. Perhaps look to site it in one of those other spots. But I don't think this is the sort of thing I've heard from anyone in Kansas City who says they think is a community need.
I'm curious to know your stance on what appears to be, from the outside looking in, a balancing act politically, right? Because you can push back, but it seems the cities that push back the most get a surge of enforcement, or they make the biggest headlines. So how do you walk that tightrope?
You know, I think what we try to do always is this. We go with common sense. I think common sense for anybody. Think at your house right now, look outside the window. Do you want a 10,000 person warehouse detention facility? People coming in and out all the time, questions about human rights, potential protests and all of that. Do you want that outside your front window? I think by and large the people in Kansas City will say no. And so for us, what I always try to do is a breakdown on common sense and judgment with understanding that yes, there are laws that need to be enforced and more. But frankly, when we're at a time when you have folks, when you have a woman who gets shot in the face, when you have incredible conflagration and all types of issues of conflict all around America, Kansas City wants peace. Kansas City wants respect for human rights. And yes, Kansas City will follow the law. This is us following the laws and common sense.
You met with Governor Mike Kehoe last week. Did you talk about immigration enforcement at all?
You know, we talked a little bit about the National Guard and what perhaps his views are is distinct from mine in terms of what may come in the future. I think it is clear that we have a strong police department in Kansas City. We have strong local agencies that work with us. And in all of them, I think what's important for us is that we have local folks who know our community rather than outsiders, whether they be from around the state of Missouri or around America, enforcing the laws on our streets.
Any talk about the National Guard coming to Kansas City or St. Louis for that matter?
I think the governor has previously mentioned, and I think he has repeatedly suggested perhaps the National Guard more around the World Cup. I know that was part of his State of the State speech. I don't believe that's necessary. I don't think the people of Kansas City are asking for that. And importantly, our police department, Missouri Highway Patrol, Kansas Highway Patrol, lots of agencies all around us will have thousands of uniformed officers ready for this upcoming World Cup. I do not think it's a necessity in our community.
KMBC 9 News will continue to keep a close eye on enforcement across the country and here at home. We'll pass along updates on air and online at KMBC.com.